Dude, it has been a long time since I've been in this studio because winter's controlled chaos at its best. But you weren't the first guest, were you?
No, I was the first guest, and then we scrapped the whole podcast because I think we went pretty rogue.
We got the one, the only, Ross Robinson, a.k.a. Roscoe.
Yeah!
Where are you?
That has been the question all winter.
Dude.
Where are you, Ross?
Where are you?
Where the hell have you been?
I've been kind of all over the place. It's been hectic.
We're running with our theme of not filming together. Actually, we did.
We did in December.
Yeah, it wasn't like one-on-one.
Yeah. And then we had a really mature phone call together, and we said, hey, dude, we're both like all over the place. It's okay if it doesn't work out.
My number one concern was your feelings. I'm like, does he feel like he's getting enough from us?
I like to give you a hard time, but no, I understand.
Yeah. So the elusive Roscoe webisode is
Still not done. Still out there somewhere.
But I'm not going to give away too much. This fall, it was a 90% shot. We're going to do kind of a mini film-like premiere with Ross in a little summer endeavor to ride snowmobiles. So you can piece that all together if you want. So I think you're finally going to get your screen time coming up.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yep. But no, it's okay. I'm not too worried about it. I got my own stuff going on. I'm all over the place. And
Yeah, what the hell have you been doing this winter?
I don't know.
You've been back on the YouTube grind quite a bit.
Yeah. We've been back on the YouTube grind, trying to set a sustainable pace because I've set unsustainable paces before, and then I get burnt out, and then
Me too.
Yeah. So we're trying to do sustainable. I've been pretty good. I mean, we've been an episode. I haven't gone more than like 8 days without an episode. So
Nice. Since
I've been trying to I've been trying to go weekly, and then like things just kind of just happen, and like all of a sudden I got to go to Houston for 4 days for links and this and that. So
yeah, it's I zero disrespect to anybody else in the industry outside of the guys that are, there's guys like Sane, Caleb, Brandt, all those guys that are running businesses at the same time.
Yeah.
But like you, dude, are like grinding harder than I've seen from anybody, which is cool but you found your corner. Like you're a media guy and a slider, and your OEM sponsor recognizes that and utilizes you for both, and it keeps you damn busy.
It does. Yeah. And I'm trying to get over the hump of like turning it into like a small media business where I have a little bit of help with stuff. Because that's what people sometimes don't realize is they're like, oh yeah, like I haven't seen you drop a video. I'm like, well, I'm working on something that's not, like I'm not going to be able to show you yet. So I don't know. It's just like you're trying to figure it out and put it all together. So
it's been cool watching you find your lane though. I know you went through a couple of years there of like scrounging and not really knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah. And
now finding a home that just kind of takes you for Ross, and you kind of are able to have the freedom to do your thing. And I'm stoked for you, dude.
Yeah,
it's been cool to see.
Yeah, it's fun. So
it's been cool to see. But you and I still don't ride snowmobiles together.
No, dude. Snowmobiling together is not our thing.
I feel like I hang out with you like a lot more than most people, but we're never on snowmobiles.
Yeah, for sure. But no, it's good. I just got back I was in BC for 4 or 5 days. I was at Carl Kuster's place.
Nice.
The place is unreal.
A little vacation too this time.
Yeah, a little vacation. I took my dad and some guys up there. I've been up there multiple times, and then I showed them photos, and they were like, we got to go.
Oh, they've never been?
No, they'd never been to Kuster's.
Damn.
No.
Yeah.
So
I remember the first time I was there, and you can't replace that.
Dude.
It's a pretty rad place.
It's so well run and just unreal. We killed it on snow. I got some sick clips. So
yeah. Did you ride right from there, or did you trailer?
No, we trailered, but it's all short.
Yeah.
Really short, and
you guys are spoiled.
Yeah, they're truly spoiled up there. So
the whole West this winter though has been kind of firing off finally. Last year was terrible, which was kind of why we had the lack of content. I mean, we had high pressure, no snow for like literally a month and a half. It was like I think it was like 40 something days plus of like no snow across the majority of the West.
It makes it really hard to like go have fun and do what you want to do.
Yeah, it's different if it was like I can deal with high pressure for a couple of weeks if there's a 8, 9, 10 foot snowpack. But when we had like a 4 foot snowpack and it was blue sky every single day and you like need more snow, it makes it a bummer. But this year now it's like storm cycle after storm cycle.
Yeah.
Which has been sick.
Yep. No, it's been sick. I mean, we were up there this last week was so deep.
Yeah.
And I guess like, I think it was almost a record setting, like 2 week span they had up there. And like, I saw Carl Kuster stuck. That was sick. That dude never gets stuck. Dude, he rides around on a 174. Like, it's so funny. And he's like very calculated on how he does everything. So he'll ride it. You get stuck. He rides in front of you, puts a 174 in reverse. Yeah. Augers down where most people would be stuck.
Yeah.
And then he crawls out of it, and you just kick some snow in the front, and then they just kind of like crawl the sled out. It's like, I've never seen it before, and I've seen a lot of people get stuck.
So I hope Tate, my buddy, Tate, and my girlfriend Hannah. Yesterday we were riding, and she got buried in this weird spot, and they were like watching me, and I came up, and I parked my sled next to hers, and I put it in reverse and dug this trench down, and they were like, "Whoa, I've never seen that one," and I go, I learned that from Carl Kuster like 6 years ago. And that you just brought that up as the first time I've heard anybody reference that. And I happened to do that maneuver yesterday.
Dude.
It's a good one.
It's
like one of those, oh, no shit. Never thought about that when you see it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the biggest, most powerful shovel under your feet. And
and yet you're going to use all the manpower you can.
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, it's finally a good winter in the West. I've probably filmed more POW days than I ever have, honestly, and you and I still haven't, but we had the December days, which was POW also.
Yeah, we got good days there. That was sick. That was fun.
Was sick to see finally. I know people were stoked on that, but I know you and I. It's weird. It's actually kind of a product of our environment because you're grinding so hard in the winter months. You and I align more in the summer. Mm-hmm. I mean, historically, you're obviously a snow athlete for 519, the pro team, and then you end up in quite a bit of our moto stuff because our schedules just allow that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I am stoked this year for riding bikes.
Yeah, I am too. I'm really looking forward to dirt stuff. So.
Yeah. If you guys are listening and you're in the area, Silver Mountain Hard Enduro, we're going to be there not taking any names.
No.
When is that?
It's June.
Is it like third week of June?
22nd, 23rd.
Okay. So we'll be there. Then, if you're really local, there's this little, I don't know what it is, race in St. Mary's, Idaho, called Muddy Butt. And last year, Ross and I raced it and had the time of our life. And I think we're going to recruit like half of our snow team riders this year. It sounds like are in to come race it again.
It's going to be fun.
May 7th.
May 7th. Muddy Butt.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I think it's fun too because it's not so like serious. I don't know.
No, it's far from serious.
Like
There's definitely guys in between laps drinking beers.
Yeah, it's very casual. It's fun. I love it. So it's going to be a fun one for sure. But I'm looking forward to that as well. I mean, it was funny. I was talking to Bergmark about this because he is Bergmark. Like he just like got a Red Bull deal, and there's probably nobody else in the industry there's a couple guys, but dude, he is so crazy. And I was talking to him about it. I'm like, yeah, I mean, if I go do flips and stuff, like it's not really going to like make me change who I am. And I don't really have the like drive to, so like I'm going to go like this direction with the content and everything. And he's just like, but for him, it's like, go do the biggest, craziest stuff. That's who he is. So I'm looking forward to doing like just a lot of other stuff as well.
You and I were talking about Andreas last night, and he's just like a gentle giant, like a big teddy bear. If there's not a ton of stuff of him like vlog style where people really know his personality because he's just a sender.
Yeah. But
like off camera, that dude, I've like never seen him mad.
Oh, he's so funny too.
And his attitude is like, yeah, I think I can do it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then just sends like the biggest 270 flip you've ever seen and lands it to skis, not side panel or anything, and is so nonchalant about it.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Dude is absolutely dialed.
He's dialed. He's a different breed. It's, dude, him and his friends over there, they're a different breed. He's got a really, really cool project that he's working on that if I say any more, he'll punch me in the face, but it's going to be a while, but he's working on it right now. It's big time.
Is that going to come out in the fall then type of thing? Or
it's going to be longer than that. I think some stuff might, but it's going to be a long process. And
that'll be cool.
They called me to be on it 5 days before it. And I'm like, guys, I would love to, but also
No.
I've known about it for like a year, and then so that's kind of a bummer, but it also is going to take away from my program too much because I like Ross would disappear again because I would just be doing that.
Yeah, that's where it gets tough to manage all that because you're obviously still got your personal media side you're trying to push, and then I mean, I get it. I get it all the time on my just as minimal as like my personal Instagram. People are like, you don't post sometimes for like a month straight. I'm like, yeah, it's because I'm grinding out content for the day job.
Yeah, I've been editing Jay and Blaine
and
their profanities out of videos for the last 4 days.
And by the time I go out to ride for myself, I don't want a thing to do with a camera.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna go ride with my homies, and we're just gonna ride to ride.
Yeah,
which is some of the best days. I mean,
yeah.
Film days are awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I love just riding to ride with like my pack 20 pounds lighter and burning a tank of fuel and not watching everybody else track it out.
Not looking for the next shot and just riding.
But yeah, we had a killer day locally here last week, and it was kind of fun because it was for the first time in a long time like a newer crew, some of our local ambassadors, and really their first time like truly filming for something for 509. And the stars aligned. The snow was incredible. The zone we were in was awesome, and the guys were a blast. But I had like that feeling of the first time filming almost because of their energy. They were so hyped on it that it made it like a walk in the park for me. Everything I'd look at, they're like, yeah, let's hit that. Let's hit that. I'm like, sick. And just like camera out in one spot for like 30 minutes straight, just firing shot after shot after shot. And it kind of, not that it was dwindling, but it sparked that again, like that stoke level for that next generation is always a mystery. Like, what is the next generation in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah.
Because, like, some of these guys are going to start phasing out. I mean, it's a reality at this point.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I might phase out. Who knows?
Like, with their career, age, family, all of that stuff. And I'm like, we're in like a fun time. We're right on the cusp of kind of the new schoolers, like, working their way in.
Yep. Yeah, I think Ryan McConnell just texted me about that, actually. He left me 4 paragraphs, so I didn't read them. I left them unread. Yeah, no, it is a crazy time. I was thinking about that as well. The last young generation that is, I mean, we're not the young kids anymore. Yeah. We're not young, but we're still like the youngest guys. It's like me, Jay, Caleb, Kyle, like we're all kind of the same age, but then like what's the next 22, 21-year-old kids?
I think Caleb's the most recent guy to make a big
Caleb
Caleb
was slow, and then he just went big fast.
I think he was the most recent guy to put his name like in the history book and become a staple. Yeah. But it's like there's gonna be another one.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. I think if anybody out there is listening and they want to be that person, it's like
now's the time.
Now's the time, and you gotta figure out how you're gonna make your mark media wise.
Yeah.
Because the hot boy edits that we all love so much of just like doing slow-mo clips.
Yeah.
Dude, they're everywhere. Like you're not gonna like unless you're doing Caleb-esque or like Bergmark-esque things.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to like mix something up, and I want to see their personality. Yeah. That's what's gonna.
And he's gonna be nice to people, dude.
Yeah.
I saw one of our ambassadors the other day posted on his friends story, like immediate friends, like kind of private stories. Yeah. This screenshot of a message he got from another fellow local sledder. And the guy, he's never met him, never had interaction with him. And because he has some like ambassador deal and like has some small sponsors, he's a good rider. The guy that posted this local dude's like straight bullying him.
Jeez.
Like calling him names. He's like, come ride with my crew and we'll show you how to actually ride. I bet you can't hang. Like swearing at him, like making fun of him for like his appearance. Like, dude, you want to talk about how to instantly get the out?
Yeah.
If this guy is like saying he's a good rider and trying to push it and frustrated and has sponsors, and then he goes and messages somebody he doesn't even know because he's like jealous they have a deal, to the point of, I mean, it was like middle school, high school bully, the way he typed out what he said. And I'm like, and then he posted his private story, obviously, for whatever. I mean, I'm on that so I can view it. But it was kind of nice to know for me. I'm like, well, that guy's definitely never getting approved for anything.
Yeah, that dude, that's just a reflection on him more than anything.
Yeah. So don't do that. Don't be that guy.
Hey, don't be mean.
Like, just, gosh, I don't know. It's easy for people to phase out and dwindle off. I've seen a lot that have gotten big deals, and all of a sudden, a year later, you're like, whatever happened to that dude?
Yeah.
They're just I don't know. I understand. I totally get it if you got bigger opportunities, because obviously the snow game is, if you don't, I mean, the reality is if you don't really have an OEM deal in the future or something, it's tough to make it as your number one source of income or grind.
Oh, yeah.
And if you got a bigger opportunity in your day job that comes up and you can't fulfill whatever you have going on in snow, so be it. But
it's understandable, because it's like you got to really try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Just being the sickest rider, you got to be the sickest rider in the world.
Yeah.
To do it.
Like you said, Andreas is one of the guys that can get away with not much personality on camera, because he's like doing things that every post is viral.
Yeah, he's got that viral in him. It's cool to watch. It's fun.
Like, how the hell? I saw those guys. Oh God, was it Emil, Arlene, maybe a couple other guys the other day on their stories, just like in town in Sweden with like 1.5 feet of snow. Did you see this?
Probably.
Just sending it like in Buddy's backyard.
Yeah, they're just like barrel rolling
to
flat.
Side panel, and I could see where they had shoveled the snow for the jump, and the guy's standing on the ground, and then there's like this much snow next to him. Yeah. I'm like, you guys are built different.
I love those guys.
You're like in a gravel pit, I think, and doing like 150 footers in a gravel pit.
Yeah, it's so sick. It's like, it reminds me of like old FMX days, like minus the like heavy metal music and illegal activity, like
Glamis and all that stuff. And
Yep.
Seth Enslow just like
just out of control,
sending it to flat.
But speaking, dude, I have a really funny story to tell you. So Jay actually brought this up. I was with him a couple weeks ago, and he reminded me that this was a long time ago. It was probably like 2016 or 15. I hit him up. I took a year off of BBA. I hit him up for a Ski-Doo contact, and he left me on red.
Wait, Jay did?
Yeah. And this was like before Jay and I were like good friends. Like we knew each other, but not that well. And I hit him up and he left me on red. And he reminded me that he did that because I had like forgotten. But I was like, oh yeah.
Did he like apologize now?
He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, well, it probably all worked out for the best, They're so funny.
It's just been in the back of his mind for years now.
He's just like,
eating at him.
I can't believe I left Ross on red on that thing.
Did he tell you that at the Ski-Doo thing?
Yeah. And he was like, we were just talking to all of the like BRP links, Ski-Doo, like marketing and everybody, and he was telling that story. It was so funny.
Yeah. Gosh. Oh, Manaberry. Yeah. Another guy that's just been in it forever and stayed pretty like relevant.
Yeah.
The Jay and Blaine show is rad to watch now.
Yeah, it's rad.
I'm stoked for them. They got something going, and it's starting to grab some traction too.
Yeah, they're working on it.
Here's my one gripe with that. If maybe you can, so I'm all for all OEMs. All OEMs getting along, but BRP Jay and Blaine show. I coined that name. I started referring to it in our 509 webisodes originally. The Jay and Blaine show is back. Yeah. So if this becomes a multi-million-dollar endeavor,
you want some trademarking on
royalties here.
Yeah. You should just trademark that name right now. It's probably not trademarked yet.
I own you guys now.
Jay and Blaine aren't trademarking that.
Yeah, it's weird. 519 doesn't own it, but David McKinney solely owns you guys.
It's so fun watching those guys try to figure it out on the media side, because they've never done it, and it's so cool to watch, and they're getting it figured out, and they're really passionate about it, and the phone calls I get are hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've gotten a couple too.
Oh yeah, Blaine. What did I walk him through? How to format a hard drive to work on a Mac.
Yeah.
I had to FaceTime him, walk him step by step, and of course Blaine. He goes, "Oh shit, man, you're like a doctor." He's like, "This is calling in like the urgent care for computers."
Yeah. He's like, we're sitting in Jay's shop and we're listening to music, getting ready to ride. And he's like, you should put this on the edit. I'm like, I can't. Like, we don't have the rights to this. And he's like, I own the rights to this song. Like, he just
doesn't accept now.
He's like, nah, this is fine.
I've looked into that a bit because Hoonigan does it really well. They like sample from like multi-million-dollar films, quick clips.
Yeah.
And I think there is some clause where like if it's under 5 seconds or something like that, you can use it. And same with music. I think that's why a lot of trending sounds on Instagram and stuff are like 10-second clips only.
Yeah.
That are from big artists.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a way to, like, I don't know, there's some loophole in there.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
You need to look into that.
Hoonigan is like the king of it. Some of the, first of all, their editors must be incredible and pretty cultured in film and television and everything, just pop culture. Because they'll like do some deep cuts on a ridiculous reference that somebody says in their video and cut to like some movie from the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm like, where did you find this clip too? Like,
right.
You gotta dig through YouTube, or do you just have the DVD and you rip
like,
it straight off of?
Yeah, to go find that clip and then get it is, if you're a good editor, oh, dude, it's a world out there for really good editors, like that are good, fast for like YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this as a plug. Actually, guys, I need one bad. Another one. Like Cam does a great job, but there's a lot of other stuff going on here. So if you are even action sports savvy, is obviously a hit. Like I know there's a lot of good guys that edit for mountain bike, ski, snowboard, everything. Shoot me a message because I need help.
No, it's tough to find really good ones, especially guys that get it too. You got to like really want it and try to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Know the culture.
Oh, Ross, yeah, actually, when you pulled up to my house, because I'm a huge fan of your truck setup in the summer.
Yeah.
Your camper, your flatbed, everything. First thing I did was look outside to see if you got a rear bumper finally.
No. Yo, if you want to build me a rear bumper, slide into my DMs, and you're good, and you can build one fast.
You're in a hurry now? You've been driving around like that for a year with no rear bumper.
Now I'm starting to get in a hurry.
Yeah.
I've been patient, and yeah. So trucks are a project. So.
What's your kind of goal there? You kind of like have crossed over in the summer, like to like overlanding.
Yeah, it's a Mad Max.
You're a little bit of your hipster Roscoe sled junkie mix is like overlapping big time now.
Yeah, hipster sledder.
Because in the summer, all of a sudden you like have these deals with some of these like camping stuff and overlanding stuff.
Yeah, I want to go year round with stuff, and kind of it's really hard to do because it's such a niche thing that we do. But I want to get into like more overlanding, side by side, moto, just like that whole world is really interesting to me. And I enjoy it all. So, we built the truck, F350, Carly suspension, Norweld flatbed, and then I have a 4-wheel camper's pop-top camper that goes on it. Mm-hmm. Then I put the truck bed on the flatbed. And, it's kind of Mad Maxy right now because part of it is like, dude, stuff is so expensive.
Yeah.
So you either got to build it or pay for it, and it's expensive. So kind of like work in that direction. It's fun to work on it, and but I haven't had a rear bumper because that flatbed is from Australia, so they don't.
How do they ship those here?
They I think they do like 2 or 3 sea cans a year.
Jesus.
They send over here. So I had that like whole thing on order for like 10 months, and then so it's cool. It's sweet. Once I get it dialed in, it'll be
super light too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's light and
the flatbed. Yeah.
Yep.
And then the camper's all aluminum too, right?
Yeah, the camper's aluminum. The camper's 1,300 pounds.
It doesn't seem right at all when you look at it.
No. Yeah.
Totally dry.
Right.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to build the truck. I built the truck with the idea of like, I want it to be a camper, but I want it to be a 90-mile-an-hour camper. Yeah. Like, so I can drive, just haul. Yeah. I don't want this like big behemoth swaying in the wind.
That every road trip is extended by 3 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the worst. That's like the emotional roller coaster of an enclosed sled trailer. You're like, dude, this is the best thing ever to get to the parking lot. You got heat, you got everything in there. And then it snows or it's windy and you're going 60 miles an hour in an 80 and all of a sudden your drive is 3 hours longer and mixed emotions on them.
Yeah, I hate that. So, well, what's funny is I was like, I'm going to build a bunch of stuff for the truck. And then my dad gave me the harsh reality. He just looks at me. He's like, you ain't going to build shit for that thing. He's like, you're way too busy. So now I'm kind of battling that, but because I have the fab background, people don't know that, but I could build some stuff for it. I just got to do it. So we'll see. Who knows? Yeah. It's exciting. It's cool. So, and it's like huge. People don't believe me, but I accidentally made it massive. Like it was like
tall.
It's like one thing after another, and it just started like crawling up and up, and now it's huge.
I noticed when you were backing on my driveway today, I'm like, that thing is big. And like I have a 2.5-inch Carly kit on 37s in my truck.
Yep.
But yours is like,
huge.
Is that the 3.5?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. So, and people always say this, like, damn, your flatbed is tall. I'm like, well, yeah, this is accidentally. Part of it, it's because I have a bunch of travel now. So I added the full Carly pin top kit.
Yeah.
And I just leveled it at first, and then the truck sat nose high.
Yep.
Which it barely sat nose high.
Enough where you look stupid with all that nice stuff.
Unloaded, it looked good.
Yeah.
And then I put the camper on it, and it sagged. And I loaded it, and it would sag. So then I got Deaver full progression leafs in it that are rated for 1,800 to 2,000 pounds. So it's like, with 2 sleds on it, it sits perfectly level and rides perfect. But unloaded, it rides like bricks. But I either have sleds or a camper on it, so it's fine. Right. And then I'm like calling CJC Off-Road. Shout out to those guys. They hook it up a little bit. And Carly. And I'm like, okay, I want to do the fully progressives, but I don't. And then I'll probably do like the Fox backcountry shocks on it. And they're like, well, here's the problem. The only shocks we have valved for those Leafs are the King 2.5 big boys. And I'm like, jeez. So there went like $5,000. And then all of a sudden my truck is just like, they don't really say it lifts it, but it does bring it all up. So it is probably like 3.5 inches taller now.
It's a big rig.
Dude, it's huge.
It's a unit.
It's huge.
It looks rad going down the road. It looks so sick with a rear bumper on it.
I know. Hopefully in a year I have it like way better, because I want to do a roof rack and all this stuff. I got to figure out how to haul snowboards and yeah.
Cam was giving you a hard time too. We were at the 2024 gear shoot a few weeks ago.
Oh gosh.
Cam just out of the blue, no context. So Roscoe just like love that frame of the truck, or like what's going on there? Is he going to get a rear bumper on that? And I'm like, zero context. I'm like, what? I mean, I don't disagree.
Dude, well, I'll tell you this too. I was having issues. I was in BC. I was in Revy, and I'm driving, and my like heater display just shuts off, and the heat goes off the truck. And when you start like a new pickup, the seat will like go forward or backwards.
Yeah.
And my seat goes zzz and moves forward. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then my heater would come back on, and then it would go off. And so I finally like get home and I get it figured out. There's a plug back there that talks to the whole truck. Like it thinks it's in park. And moisture got in there because I don't have a bumper or anything covering it.
Yeah.
So now I have like these bags back there.
Dielectric grease in it.
Dielectric grease like wrapped up to try to keep moisture out of it. It is not pretty, to be honest, but it'll get there.
Yeah. It's fine. I've slowly got suckered into the truck thing. I mean, I would say I had a smaller scale version of it, kind of like the budget setup.
Yeah.
Like the 2.5-inch commuter Carly kit and Fox shocks and 37s on 18s and crew cab long blocks. So not really the budget version. I would say that out loud. But and then I got the truck boss deck in it, all weather sealed, and I'm like, damn it. All of a sudden I start hanging out with Cam and watching all this stuff on YouTube, and now I'm like ordering like overland shit, and I'm like, I need the roof rack, and I'm like, oh, here's a super cool low profile mini rooftop tent. I'm like, what about a summer adventure rig for bikes and leave the sled deck in all year, because I got the 8-foot pull-out tray to keep everything weather sealed. And then I'm ordering bike binders for the sled deck, and all of a sudden I'm getting a cooler that fits under the deck, and I'm like, yeah, I'm building a summer moto-specific sled deck camping setup now.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
You order one thing, and you're like, well, because I ordered this means I'm going to do more of this, which means I now also need this and that and that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go rogue all summer.
Dude, it's fun. And we talked about it, like that industry is massive. You go to an overland like I love to make fun of the overlanders. But I kind of am one now as well. Like, because everything is like so like clean and crazy and cool and very, very expensive. But I went and I was like, I didn't realize how big of an industry it was. I was like, I need to hang out here more. This is cool. Let's do some stuff here. So,
and then you look at us, our sleds are like zip tied together, and we're throwing our wet gear in the back seat, and not as refined.
Yeah, no, I have some plans with that. It's gonna be fun, hopefully. So, yeah, it's cool.
It'd be so fun to do. I don't even know what it looks like in the future. Like on the summer side, almost like a mini film, like the Revzilla stuff we were watching last night. where we take the trucks and whatever the adventure may be. It's some ridiculous checkpoints along the way, and it'd just be so sick to have a chase vehicle, a full media team, and you could just be like the personalities and like host and then riders and everything, and just having a chase team with us capture it all. I feel like that's the future, hopefully, for us here at 509.
Yeah.
And be able to be immersed more in the story and kind of direct a bit more. That's what I'd like to do a lot.
Yeah.
I love filming and everything, but I do love, sometimes it's really hard for me to like, here's what I'm envisioning, and then getting the riders to do it or to intro it correctly or to word it right or to wrap it all together smoothly. And I'd kind of love to be like host style, be here for 10 plus years and kind of solidify yourself in the industry and kind of be like hosting some stuff and pushing you guys and being able to give a little more backstory on who you guys are and not be doing it selfie vlog style. And I know I really enjoy that because I love talking about you guys and I love pushing who you guys are. And it's one thing doing it vlog style, but if we had like a chase crew and everything and could like do a full production, hour-long mini movie of this 10-day road trip with bikes and trucks, like it'd be so fun.
Yeah. I agree. That's exactly where I want to go to, as like, because I'm not that rider anymore, really. At one point I was like, I was wanted to be, and like, I was probably was. But now I'm like, what's next for me? And that's what I really enjoy doing as well, is like hosting and showing. And I think our snowmobile industry can do better at this altogether. And I'll throw myself in there as well, because I like to throw shots at people. I started a fire with Rimshaw.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, I made one post and
they replied to it.
Yeah, they replied to it because I think they got 100 DMs. But like, we can champion our riders so much better and help tell these stories of like who the riders are, where the sport is going. And I think that's what mountain biking does really well. Snowboarding does it really well. So like, let's like do that. And these guys are amazing at their craft, and we're such a small community. But then if you go take somebody who's never ridden before, or maybe they've ridden a little bit and they haven't filmed that much, and then you show them, they see it in person, they're like, holy cow, that was violent.
Yeah.
It was cool. In BC, Cooster's camera guy, like he does kind of freelance for them. Caleb's his name. Shout out Caleb. He came and rode with us for 2 days, and we were filming. We got a ton of sick clips. I'll show you a clip. And my dad and his guys are with us, and they grew up. I grew up with them, and they've like watched me kind of progress, but they've never seen me filming in actually like
in your element,
in my element, gnarly terrain. And I scoped out this like hipper that was pretty sick, and they were all just like, holy cow. My dad's like, don't get hurt. And I'm like, I'm not worried about it at all, Dad.
I'm in my zone.
I'm like, this is chill. He's like, all right. And then for them to see it was kind of special too. It was really cool. So I think we can kind of do a better job of like championing these guys and showing like what goes into it, even like, everybody's sled is specifically set up and all this stuff. So I hope that's the future.
I agree. The biggest thing is the OEMs have it, obviously, but for everybody else, the bummer in this industry is it all comes down to budget. Which is kind of funny. It's like there's some of the most expensive machines out there. Like mountain bikes obviously are sometimes damn near the same price as snowmobiles. But there's millions and millions of mountain bike guys out there. So obviously millions and millions in sales and more focus on the media side. And at least, all of us battle is getting budget approved and then getting somebody who can get out there. We've talked about that before. That's a big problem. Because I always say, I'm like, there's a million camera guys that are better than me. I have no issue admitting that. But there's like 0.0001% that can efficiently ride a snowmobile to get out there. Yep. And that makes it so hard for us to find freelance work. I mean, Cam's a prime example. Phenomenal shooter. Does a lot of the editing for us. Shoots a lot of still imagery, and he does stuff for like Motor Trend and all kinds of stuff. He's done like Chevy commercials, but he struggles on the sled. Like he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, he's getting there.
But to the point where, and there's nothing against him at all. He hasn't grown up on it to the point of where like he's not really a contender right now for like a gnarly day of filming. And that makes it that much harder. That's why specifically I was talking on summer side, it opens up the door a lot more. There's a lot of guys that can ride dirt bikes and get around with cameras. I mean, there's a tenfold of options compared to the snow side.
Yep.
But I think that's like, yeah, if you're into the camera thing and you're a rider too, like focus on both heavy.
Yes.
Figure out how to ride efficiently. And that's the best part about it is really if you were to just do those two things really well, there's a lot of job opportunity.
Tons.
There's a shitload. There's just nobody combining them. That putting the passion into both those things at a equal, amount of effort.
Yeah, and telling the story, and so much so that I went and rode with Jay and Blaine in Wyoming. I looked at the forecast, called those two knuckleheads, and we had a powwow. And I was gonna bring a filmer, and I didn't bring a filmer because I knew how deep and gnarly it was gonna be.
Yeah,
and that was like the right call because it wouldn't. And I filmed it all. Yeah. And then we filmed each other and stuff, and it turned out sick, but like, yeah, just
it wouldn't have been efficient.
No, we would not have been able to get what we wanted to without having there's like 5 guys you can bring into those days. So
yeah. I think seriously, just dude, more guys need to pick up a camera and learn how to ride really well. Yeah. And there's a lot of job opportunities.
There is. Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys are like, man, I don't know what to do in the snowmobile industry. How do I get involved? And like, well, in this specific little corner, there's a ton of opportunity because everybody who's involved in it right now is like overworked because they're the only 5, 6, 7 guys that can efficiently get places.
Yes.
But
yeah, that's part of the reason why. That's why I'm like in the weird spot is I want to do both. Oh, well, I want to be the rider, but I don't want to be just strictly a filmer. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's kind of like a limbo stage.
Yeah. I'm kind of like that, but with like, want to be like
we want to be
host, not the rider, but
storytellers.
Yeah, and push the guys around me and make it fun.
Yeah, it's cool. Future's bright for some.
Ross and I are just gonna leave 509 and go start our own thing.
Dude, I love it here.
We'll just sell a few things and a little business loan.
Yeah, just pray it works out,
and then we just disappear forever because it fails miserably.
I was freezing in BC filming and stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna move to Costa Rica. This is bad.
No, I can't do that.
No,
I still love snow. Even you have days when you don't give a shit about snow. And I don't think I've ever had a day where.
Yeah, I'm interesting because I love snowmobiling, but I love everything else as well. I talked about it a little bit, I think, on the last podcast. But guys are. The diehard guys, I really respect those guys who live to ride sleds only. But I like it all, man. It's just fun. I like pushing myself, being creative, and the creativity is the most fun for me, I think. Yeah. I
still love nothing better than a Bluebird POW day.
Oh my gosh.
No obligations.
Yeah.
Just ride to ride.
Ride to ride.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was cool. It's been sweet though. So, I mean, I think like the Deegan thing was fun.
Yeah.
I haven't really talked to you about that yet. That was cool. Brian Deegan came out and rode with me, and it was cool to show him. That dude's so busy. I can't believe he came out.
I can't either. Watching that vlog, him kind of playing out his flights and everything and his schedule.
Yeah.
Insanity.
I can't believe he came out. It was crazy. We got lucky with snow, and I wish I had 3 days with him because I could have turned him into he could have been a rider.
Yeah.
Like he could have really figured it out and stuff, but dude, his kid's like winning Supercross. He's 17. Like
he podiumed in 250 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Last night. What day is it?
It's
Monday.
2
days ago.
2 days ago. Podium Daytona, Hayden Deegan, shout out.
4th race.
Yeah, you'll never see this, but what's up, dog? No, it's cool. And then so he flew from Florida. I meet him for dinner. We get dinner. It had snowed a foot. We missed it by a day.
Yeah.
Because the zone that I took him to is kind of small, and it's hard when I couldn't get him into the spots where I really wanted to like get him and his filmer. So we kind of like battled that a little bit, but still had a sick day, and he got to ride, and it's cool it reminds me of like how specialized sledding is.
Yeah.
Because it's a steep learning curve.
I could still see it because I've watched Deegan forever growing up. I mean, I watched him on X Games from when he absolutely exploded his body at Winter X trying the 360 bike and just destroying himself to the spiked chest protectors, Metal Militia in the Coliseum in LA, like for X Games. I watched it all, and I could see right away. It's just like how, like specifically, I think Jay Menneberry, I could put Jay on any snowmobile in any gear, and I could pick his style out of riding.
Yep.
I could see Deegan riding it like a dirt bike. His mannerisms,
Yes.
I could see his body trying to manipulate it like he was on a bike, which worked a little bit. But, I mean, that's just his muscle memory is tuned from 30, 40 years of doing that. But, yeah, I watched that video and some of those slow-mo clips. I was like, dude, he's trying to ride it like a dirt bike, which is actually probably fighting him quite a bit. But you're not going to break that habit in a day.
And when you only have a day with somebody, it's like, okay, we're going to give him some basics and we're going to go have fun, but I'm not going to just
drill sergeant
him.
Yeah.
Like he's here to just ride, and then he let me rip. We got some sick clips. It was fun.
Yeah, he was ripping cars and stuff in the meadow. And
yeah, he was getting he got his turns.
Takes
down.
guys sometimes a whole year to figure out.
For sure. Yep. And it was cool. Like I put him on a turbo, so he got to feel like the power and stuff.
That's just a genuine athlete.
Yeah.
Like a full-blown, purebred athlete that can pretty much jump on anything. And I saw the same thing with Spencer Wilton.
Yes.
Spenny.
Spenny Wilt.
You guys don't know, he's like top 10 in U.S. hard enduro, and he's a Canadian guy. Just a phenomenal rider on a moto and super techy, gnarly, rocks, everything. Runs pro class and races against like Tristan Hart, Keith Curtis, Colton Haker, all the top dogs. And we got him on a snow bike for the first time in like January. He struggled. And then we got him on a better bike set up in BC like a month or so ago. And like day 2 or 3, he's like doing like 30-foot drops down waterfalls on this bike.
Yeah. His vlog and stuff was sick.
Yeah. It's just mind-blowing that he figured it out. Mm-hmm. But then the craziest part was when I was with him in January, put him on a sled for a little bit, and he literally couldn't go down the Pack 2 track to get into the mountain. Like he was going to tree wells, he's trying to get on the edge and like initiating too soon and giving it gas, and the sled would go this way and he'd go that way, like tipping over in the meadow. He went and stuck out on day after and did Turcotte's clinic and was like damn near doing re-entries by the end of the day. And like I watched the clip he sent me and slowed it down, just his legs and his body position and everything, and his recovery looked like a sledder has been doing it for years. Like just figured it out. But those like highly trained, tuned in athletes like that, it's incredible the different disciplines you can stick them in. Give them 24, 48 hours and they'll figure it out enough to efficiently get around.
Yeah.
That was one of the first times I've been like genuinely mind blown by somebody, like how fast he figured out the sled.
He's doing it right now. He's doing good. Shout out to him. You guys should follow him and put his handle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I think it's Spencer Wilton 17. Spencer with 2 S's.
Yeah. He's grinding the vlog. He's doing his stuff. And it's funny that day, the first day he rode sleds, he texted me and he's like, "You guys are insane. Like, what the hell?" Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, "Shut up, Spencer. Like, I've seen you ride a bike. Like, you're the madman." Like, yeah, it was cool to receive some gas from him because he's a gangster on a bike.
We were saying the same thing. I'm like, he's like mind blowing me doing like aired out bow ties.
I'm like, don't talk to us about this.
It's like, then he posts a clip on Instagram, him like splattering this rock, riding into a wheelie, and then like nose wheeling down the rock. I'm like, not one bit of that makes sense to me at all. I'm like, I will literally splatter into that rock, like crash, but that's about it.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny. It's cool to watch all that. It's natural selection today.
I know. In Revy.
I know. I avoided Revy because of it.
I'm excited to watch that because it looks like it is proper right now.
Dude, it's gonna be firing.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing to watch outside of anything motorsports related.
Yeah, those guys are sick. Shout out to Ben Ferguson and Jared Elson. Two Ben boys are in it.
I wonder how many other people. Natural selection, first of all, is like is it just snowboard right now? Or do they don't cross?
It's snowboard only.
It's Corvettes that they do both in.
Yeah, and that's a different organization.
Yeah,
Natural Selection.
T Rice.
Yeah, T Rice is started it or is involved in it. I don't really know exactly, but they also just that whole conglomerate now took on Rampage.
Oh, sick.
Yep. So like Rampage is like, and Natural Selection is all kind of one big like thing.
Yeah. Now, Natural Selection is like this backcountry free ride snowboard competition where they go to different resorts around the world, I think, or U.S. and Canada for sure, North America.
It's been evolving. Like the last few years, there's been multiple stops. This year they did a little bit different thing, which was sick. Like the format is really cool where they put people head to head, and the only bummer side is it's not like you could get the second. This happened last year. Gabe Ferguson got the second highest score of the day and didn't make it out of the first round because he went against Sage, and Sage got the highest score of the day in the first round. So Sage won the whole thing, and Gabe got eliminated first round.
Damn.
Which sucks. But it's like this bracketed head-to-head.
Makes for good competition.
It does make for good competition.
Yeah. It's sick. I mean, I wonder how many people... That's the other thing that kind of expands your outlook on what's possible for action sports in general is watching other sports.
Yep.
Like, I don't know a ton of sledders that like pay attention to the ski world, snowboard world, mountain bike world, etc. And I try to stay, I'm like super tuned in still to skateboarding.
Oh yeah.
And in the winter months, I'm like a seasonal fanboy. Like I'll pay attention to Natural Selection and stuff like that. And other than that, like I'm not really following a ton of the guys on social, but it's still like on my radar that, I got to have this on my monitor in the office today and like watch Natural Selection and just kind of, I don't know, it's just interesting seeing what those other industries are doing because we're still sharing the same terrain and how they're formatting to do these events, whatever it may be, and the creativity. Like, it's cool to just kind of let your brain, soak in that industry and see what you can implement in the snow world or the sled world.
Mm-hmm. We were, you weren't there, but I was talking to Dan Adams about it, and I probably watch more mountain biking and snowboarding stuff than I do actual sled stuff. Mostly for inspiration and just like how creative they've become over there. And I'm pretty sure with Natural Selection, Travis told me that they have like this, like, cause it's live streamed. So they have this like,
the logistics are gnarly.
Yeah. They have like a thing built out. That's all their like live streaming cameras and everything that's built into like a box, and they heli it out to the top of the location, like, and drop it off. And
that's some budget.
Yes, that is some stuff. And we're always like, we should do that sledding. And then I'm like, dude, we aren't even close to pulling that off. Are you guys kidding me? Like, dude, it's big.
I just need to find a guy that can hold a camera right snowmobile.
Yeah. There's 5 filmers in the whole sled industry.
Versus they just skip the sled ride and heli you up there.
Yeah. Yes, dude. It's so sick. It's cool to watch.
Yeah, the overlap is sick. Probably not many people know, but like Dan Adams, Travis Rice is one of the gnarliest backcountry snowboarders of our generation. I put out some of the coolest films ever. The Fourth Phase. I still watch that.
Yep. Art of Flight, Fourth Phase, like amazing stuff. Dan Adams was like the snowmobile Dan Adams, Next Level Riding Clinics Dan, was Travis's snowboard coach. Yeah.
Insane. And now look where Travis's career has gone. Look where Dan's career has gone. Like just both two driven dudes in totally different disciplines, but sharing like-minded backcountry, etc. But I bet if you would have asked Dan that 20 years ago, that hey, you think this guy's going to run like one of the biggest backcountry events in the world and put out some of the actually not some of the most well-known backcountry films ever, next to like Warren Miller.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We talked about it last time I was on. That the Art of Flight changed everything from in action sports. I think it pivoted a lot of things to what was like awesome. Just the way they shot that like cinematically is really cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to go on a movies bender tonight.
Yeah. Watch some stuff, and yeah, it's so sick to watch all that and see the level of how they do it and how they pull it off, and because so much goes into it.
Yeah. Like this totally kind of going way too in depth on that, but when they in Fourth Phase, I think, where they tried to go to like Russia or something, and they landed the heli, and the agents there, the border guys said like, no, you can't come in.
Yeah.
Because of something to do with visas or something like that. But like that was like a $30,000 mess up probably
Yes.
for that film.
Yes.
In this huge military chopper, this old ex-military chopper.
Yeah.
Like you could fit like 40 people in that thing. Like not a cheap thing to fly. And nope. It's a sham. You're done.
They're like in between Japan and Russia. Like they don't like
No man's land.
just
kinda.
like this like mountain in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets shut down. I'm like, dude, that is some next level stuff
Yeah.
to even think about doing that and then put that in the film, and that becomes a whole story piece in itself. And
Yes.
it's literally just like money being burned up when you're watching it.
Yes. Do you think there's a resurgence in action sports films? Like right now? Like is there potential? And if you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments, because I think there is, for well done films, like it's almost time to start bringing some longer format stuff back.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ready in the snowmobile world, but I see it in other industries where like these story films are making a resurgence.
Yeah. Specifically action sports, which I'm super pumped on. I'm seeing from TikTok, Instagram, all this stuff. I'm starting to see glimpses of the early 2000s almost come. Like I'm really specific. I'm seeing like punk rock and metal stuff surfacing more than I ever have. Kind of the OG Krusty Demon style stuff. I'm seeing it in like big YouTubers. Like I saw Buttery post a clip that was like with Lamb of God in it, and not some pop punk MGK stuff. Like I'm starting to see some of the old school days coming back now. Like McNulty's always been about it. I'm seeing stuff in like Turcotte's posts and all this, and like a little glimpse of like, oh, are we going to kind of go full circle here and go back to the old school days of just shredding and
Yeah.
like that. I know it's not really the film side, but I'm seeing that happen a lot specifically.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
an ode to the OGs.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but maybe, I mean, that might play hand in hand, obviously, in this different discipline of skiing, snowboarding, whatever, mountain biking. Yeah. The film side's kind of catching on, but also in our little discipline, it's kind of the nostalgic value of the original days are kicking back in. I don't know what it is, but I'm just noticing, I'm hearing that and seeing that more.
Yes. Yeah. I know they just did Fleeting Time, and it's on Red Bull TV, and it's a snowboard film, but it's like an ode to those films.
Yeah.
And it's very riding driven. It's really cool. It's not like this, I don't know. It's just something different a little bit.
Oh, that's what it was. I got a sneak. So Jay Schweitzer, you know him at all?
I don't think so.
So he shot like the On the Pipe series.
Yes.
All of that stuff. He's done all kinds of big stuff. I mean, just flying shot overs with Reds. He's done stuff with that Lambo that's got the shot over mounted on it and all that. Like big high dollar shoots. He has a new film coming out. I got the sneak preview of it with Colby Raha.
Oh yeah.
Called Narnia. And I got to watch the film like a month or so ago. It's next level. It's like what motos needed. A lot of Colby's clips that he's been posting over the last year were like filmed like 2 years ago almost. And then now I saw the film, I'm like, oh, these all tie together and tell this story. But that whole film was like Pennywise, NoFX, like Slayer, everything, but with a huge cinematic value put into it too. Like just proper stuff. Like I said, helis and everything, and like high grade footage. And it's the first time I've seen like a modern kind of moto film and everything mixed with the cinematic value and like the OG music. And I was like, this feels like the resurgence to me. Like, I'm like, I was fired up when that was over. And I'm like looking at the song credits. I'm like, this is sick.
Those two worlds like coming together finally.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. I've been wanting to talk with Brandon Steinekert. He's a drummer of the band Rancid, which is a legendary punk band. And he was good friends with like Ken Block and heavily involved in action sports. And I've been chatting with him. Like I'm going to get him on the pod here eventually. And I don't want to talk to him about music a ton because that's his profession. I mean, he started the band The Used. Like that was his band. And then he drummer for Rancid. But I'm genuinely curious because like music is its own thing, its own world, its own network of people. How aware he is like on how many fans and everything are from action sports, from their music. Like it just got lumped into that. Obviously, it kind of came from skateboarding, like skater punk, but like the moto side, everything. Like it's interesting how those guys take interest in action sports because not even by their choice, their music ends up associated with it, and how much that's influenced them or how aware they are of that. It'd just be an interesting topic. You know?
It'd be a really good. It's a really good question.
Yeah, like your music is heavily associated with this, whether you tried to or not. Like, how aware are you of how big of an impact that's had? Because now he like goes to Nitro Circus stuff and like knows Pastrana, and he knows all these people in action sports just because the music they make has been accepted by that community.
Yeah, it's
cool how that just happens.
Yeah, it has all come together and like drives that as well. It's funny. I get a lot of comments on like music when I do my stuff because guys, I think the joke is always like, do you spend more time editing a video or looking for the music for the video?
Yeah, definitely that one.
Yeah, it's crazy because especially we deal with this. For those who aren't like creators and don't know this, we like use certain websites where we're allowed to use the music without getting copyright strikes. It's this whole thing. And there's so much music out there that is just so corporate and just like, it can just kill a video. It feels so bad. So you just dig and dig and dig and look for something cool. And then, but like, I guess kind of my point is I got a lot of those comments. I made a playlist on Spotify. It has 2,000 saves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of like, people want to know like, well, what kind of music are you listening to or you like? Because I feel like I've done a pretty good job curating that. And it's cool to see that people are interested in that just as much as like the riding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it makes or break it for sure. I have one called McKinney Cuts on Spotify.
Yeah.
And that has like over 100.
I think I have it saved, yeah.
It's like 150 songs, but it's all over the board from like, I think there's like Zach Bryan in there.
Yeah.
There like might be a Frank Sinatra song, and then there's Metallica and NoFX. It's like such a hodgepodge of music. But yeah, people are interested in that stuff because, I don't know, it's just kind of like your hype track to get you ready for the day or sledding or whatever. And music is interesting. I always said if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably find something to do in the music industry, whether it's like tour recaps or something like that. Because I love the behind the scenes of what goes into a live show, from the sound check to like the band, the logistics of moving all of this shit across the country every single night. And those guys are like true professionals. I get burnt out if I'm on the road for like 12 days and I start thinking about musicians that have been touring for 60 days straight.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are a different breed.
It's insane. I have a friend, Jack Body. He's a editor and he does a lot of music stuff, like edits for music. And he goes to festivals and he has to, a lot of these festivals, they shoot the stuff until like midnight, and then he has to have edits for social out by like 6 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
So he gets like all this footage, and then they work all night to get it edited out, and then they drop like stuff the next day. But I had this conversation with a couple other friends. I think music is the most powerful medium we have, in the fact that it can take visuals to another level, like that whole sound design and everything, and it's super powerful on how, because you could put a hip hop song, you could put a rock song, dude, you could put classical music to the same clip and get all of these different feelings from it.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
Yeah, did you have you seen that When We Were Young festival in Vegas?
I don't think so.
It's like every person you ever had in your iPod shuffle in middle school.
Oh, dude,
it was like Paramore, Yellow Card, My Chemical Romance. It was like 40 bands. And I was following their social through it because, it sounded awesome and like just the biggest throwback of your life. But, dude, the content they were putting out, like, they'd be like, okay, whatever, just say Weezer's playing at 1 o'clock on this stage. At like 2 o'clock, they put out the most banger Instagram reel you've ever seen. Like, I mean, somebody's editing it while they're still performing, and they put out like 20 a day of like FPV drone clips to like GoPros mounted on the lead guitarist like guitar, and I'm like, somebody's running out there getting this footage. It was insanity. The media team behind it, I mean, you guys are killing it.
Killing.
But I saw that too live in Action Sports when I went to the Oregon Trail Rally with Block and that whole team. We were like, it was a cool day. Ken Butch there, his like lead technician, shop manager, kind of gave us a full experience of watching the race. You know, like got to hang out in their pit area and eat lunch and everything with them and hang out with the family and everything. And I was watching their media guys. They had this little separate tent, and there'd be two like camera guys that'd come back in a car. They'd literally hand these dudes sitting there with their Macs set up in this tent, memory cards. They'd give them fresh cards. They'd get in the car and go back out there. And then I'd like refresh social, and there's like 6 posts from that day throughout different hours of the day of different courses or different points of the rally course that they were like making content while the race was happening. I'm like, dude, you guys are just like media machines. The efficiency on it.
They're also racing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Ken has an edit coming out while he's still actively
he's in the car.
Yeah.
YouTube videos live, just drifting. Yeah.
Dude, that is the next level. The jealousy I had on that.
Yeah, it's cool. I think what kind of breaks my heart the most when I'm involved in projects is I don't like being involved and then not seeing anything for 6 months.
Yeah.
That sucks. Because we all want to see it immediately. And then also when you do a bunch of stuff, because I'm like, when I started doing stuff, I had this conversation with Y-Bar, I'm like I will just dig and pull, like, you could be like, that shot's garbage, and I will find a moment in it to like splice in somewhere. I love like going through all that. Because when you don't have a lot to work with, you're like, I gotta figure everything. It out. There's stuff in here. So it's cool when there's like that is happening. Yeah. They're just like ripping footage.
It's next level stuff. Yeah. It's brings me internal pain also.
Yeah. When you don't see stuff. And, but that's kind of, we do it a lot in the sled world where we shoot a lot of stuff and then we used to do it. We're doing it better now where you're seeing stuff in real time.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to put together like a mixtape thing of all the unused footage.
Yeah.
We have so much terabytes of footage that's never been used. It's just the time going through it. Yeah. I mean, it's a time commitment and it's never ending here. It's just constant go, something new. And that's like a month straight commitment of like, hey, I can't come to any meetings for the next month. I can't go anywhere for the next month. I need to sit here, go through these 12 hard drives to put together this like throwback 30-minute video.
Yeah.
But someday for sure, I'd love to do it because we could do like a whole little series on that. I don't know. People are at the point now where I think they like the throwback stuff a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to do stuff. I want to do a video talking about certain photos and shots.
Yeah,
because they all have stories. Like there's some stuff from December with like Bergmark and I, for links specifically. It's like that shot. We were up at 4 a.m.
Right.
Like the whole story just to get to this shot is crazy.
Yeah. And for somebody to maybe buffer through to the point all they want to see is, I just want to hear about the new trail sled or something, you know, and you're like, no, please watch all of it because you don't know what I put in.
No, we don't. Yeah, you don't know what went into that shot. Yeah. Or like, wow, that's a cool photo. I'm like, there's a 400-foot cliff on the left side, and like I about broke my hand. And
we waited for 25 minutes for this little hole of sun to come through.
Yeah.
Everybody sat there freezing for this one moment in time.
Yes. Yeah. Like the hill climb boys, they have, you'll hear them on the starting line, and the snowcross sleds have it too. They have like I
like the hot start.
Yeah, they have the hot start. And I'm like, dude, I need it on my backcountry sled because you're like waiting for sun. You're like, okay, ready? And then you get the call, sun, go. And you're like, your sled's cold.
It says 72 degrees in your sled. Yeah. You're like wide open.
Yeah. You're trying to get it to go and build heat.
Yeah. I think lastly, I want to just start a petition to quit using trending sounds everywhere.
Yes.
Because creativity is dead because of it.
So bad.
I have seen so many awesome clips, like amazing color grading, everything, to the same song as 400 other videos. And it's like, ruins it for me.
It does.
Like I know where the drop's coming or the big reveal shot that's going to the build up to it because everybody cuts it the same way. It's just, I don't know. It just feels like a predictable time in media. Like
yes.
You hear this video and you already know like what the theme's going to be, how this is going to play out. And everybody's doing it just because it's getting them likes and follows and comments. But I'm like, somebody's got to start breaking the mold there.
Right. It's a big numbers race out there.
Yeah.
And
we're all guilty of it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't think I've ever done it in my personal one. I pride myself in that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you do good on that.
But for sure on 509, I'll like edit reels and stuff to some trending sounds. And it's just, you got to stay relevant, unfortunately.
Yeah. If you want numbers, and I think about that a lot of like, okay, is this going to go? Like, what are the numbers going to be on it? Because for a lot of us, especially the OEM guys, they are looking at numbers internally. So they want to see numbers, but it like that you can get numbers without making quality content, in my opinion. And I don't like that. But it is what it is right now. So
cell phone clip to a trending song. When you click the song, it says 1.2 other million videos that are using this sound.
Yeah.
And like, oh.
And it gets 1 million views, and I just like close my laptop for the day and go to the bar. I'm like, I'm done, dude. This is stupid. Yeah, it is what it is. It's
but if we all stop doing it,
yeah. I mean,
that sounds like most of the problems in the world, but
everybody stop doing this. Yeah.
Everybody just change your ways and we'll have world peace.
Yes.
And good content.
Yeah. And it's also trying to predict what people want to see, because I don't even really know what the age demo is anymore in the snowmobile industry. I know like we've talked a lot about what has inspired us growing up, and I wonder now, like, okay, who's actually like consuming and following my content?
Yeah.
I think like a really big theory that I have is if you win, especially sledding, because they're so expensive. They're $25,000 for like the built out turbo from the factory.
Right.
Which is really cool because we used to not have mod sleds that would do that.
Yeah.
Like a mod sled for 25 grand was crazy. And now you can buy that off the showroom, and they're better than the mod sleds we used to build.
Yeah, 25 grand mod sled, it might work.
Yes.
Some days.
Like it bogs on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes. And now you just go buy those. But I'd like the theory is if you win the kid, you win the household. Mm-hmm. So like the 11-year-old kid's like, Dad, look at this. And then dad's all of a sudden like, whoa, what's that sled? Like maybe I need that.
Right.
You know? So I don't know. That's kind of like what I like to do sometimes.
I mean, it's the same with gear. Yeah. All of a sudden, the kid gets a 509 jacket that maybe he even won in a giveaway.
Yeah.
And they're like super stoked on it. He loves it. And then dad's like going on the website, and all of a sudden his wife sees that we have a women's line out, and it's that domino effect.
Yeah. Yep. And just making content that you want to make for you.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And maybe some of you guys listening to this podcast, you're like, damn, you guys just rambled about maybe nothing in your eyes, but hopefully you're stoked that it's associated with 509.
Dude, we made this podcast. We're talking about stuff we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just.
That's the whole point. Two homies just hanging out, hatching things out, and solving problems.
Yeah. Yeah. On the kind of like the content thing is because I read most of my comments I get on YouTube and stuff. But some videos anymore are just like I'm making them for me. Mm-hmm. Eventually, like it's kind of a cool like storybook to look back on,
right?
Because this is the first time in history when before the only thing you saw of like your grandparents were photos of them
or film that you had to get a projector and everything to even view it.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And I think now in the future, like our grandkids would be able to be like, oh, look, this was grandpa when he was 20.
He's upside down on a snowmobile.
Yeah. Like the first like Roscoe vlogs of BBA, they're all still there and you can go watch them. And you
headband and all.
Headbanding and Kyle trying to learn how to TIG weld and all that stuff. So it's more of, there's that side of it as well.
That's going to be fun. We need to do that in like 40 years.
Yes.
Get the 509 team together. Everybody's coming in with walkers and because we're all broken.
Yeah.
And we get to just view our first videos ever.
Yes.
And it's like a big premiere event. It's like the veterans are coming in for their premiere.
It will be fun too to look to, and then have the young guns like, you know, in 20.
Back in my day.
Yeah. In 20 years, I'm going to be the old guy in the industry and they're going to be like, whoa, like we'll just be talking about the stuff that they're doing and what they're riding. And
Back in my day,
Yeah.
I had to go to the airport to get fuel for my snowmobile to run this turbo. And be like, what?
yeah, those days are over. Like we don't really do that anymore. Remember, it's like, is there an airport around here? We're gonna go get
aviation grade fuel for my snowmobile.
Do you have any avgas? Nah. All right, let's go to the airport. We're gonna get some avgas. You got to like enter the code.
Yeah.
Like
Cross the runway.
Yeah.
You're like, you might be on the no-fly list. You don't know.
yeah, entering codes. Yeah, you're on a live runway, trying to buy fuel. Entering tail numbers. If you haven't entered a tail number at a private airport to get fuel, you haven't lived.
And then I go to different ones, and then might be saved in the system because they'd have the same, like, whatever, the same, they all share the same third-party system for it. And it'd be like new tail number or this one, N.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's me. Just like 5 N's in a row.
Yep. I remember early BBA days, we would go to the airport, me and Sane, and we'd bring a 55-gallon drum and we'd go fill it with avgas to run our mods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a clip in that old Sled Next of them talking about how expensive for just one day of snowmobiling. And this was like in 2009 maybe. And it was avgas and it was like $2.75 a gallon. And they were talking about how expensive it was because fuel at that time was like $1 a gallon or something like that for like 91. And they're like, all that just for one day of snowmobiling. And I'm like, oh, I wish. You can't even get 91 non-ethanol for $2.75 now.
No.
They were paying that for avgas 15 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, it's crazy how all that's changed a little bit. We're not quite building the crazy stuff we used to. It's still out there, but it's not nearly what it was.
Yeah.
This year at Jackson's going to be cool on the vintage side. And it's kind of out now that they're doing it, but it's for Ski-Doo, it's 20 years of rev.
Right.
So the first revs are now, you can race in the vintage class at Jackson.
Yeah.
So like all of a sudden in the next few years, like vintage is going to be crazy competitive.
Yeah.
And guys are just like, so Jay and Blaine, they're building a vintage rev. Carl and Steve Martin are building a vintage rev. Carl's building some other stuff too that I saw up there. Dude, he's insane. He's like milling cases and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's just like, it's for like guys like that. They're like back in their heyday. They're like, that's when they were like the king.
Full blown mods.
So those guys are going to be racing that. I heard some other guys might show up with some mods.
Yeah.
We'll see. But it's going to be cool to see that come full circle.
Imagine like 20 years from now, you can run like a boosted Gen 5 and like a Matrix
Head-to-head in the vintage class. Who's going to be racing? I can't even imagine what they're going to be racing then. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I hope like all that stuff with like Rimshot, I mentioned it earlier, how I like started a fire. Mm-hmm. Like there's such a big opportunity there because those guys are gnarly athletes. And
it's so fun to watch if you go. Just
so
people
fun
don't
to watch.
No, it's the freedom of how the viewing on it. Like you can get the best seat in the house at any race. You just go to the top and start walking up the side, and it's not like you're confined to sitting at the bottom in binoculars. Like it's pretty rad for spectators.
Yes, and it's still pretty cowboy too.
Yeah.
So if they can figure out how to make it like enter the modern era of that sport, it's so fun to watch. And those guys are painfully fast, painfully competitive. Everybody's like, people like, you should race Jackson. I'm like, I'm not racing Jackson. Look at those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys pour their heart and soul into it.
Yeah. Screw that. If you guys are going to Jackson, though, Roscoe and I will be there. Not racing, for sure.
Not racing.
Definitely not racing. But we'll be there hanging out and probably shit-talking our buddies on the hill.
Yeah.
Doing some vloggy stuff and enjoying Jackson for Jackson without totally a snowmobile.
Yeah. And I came to the realization, my argument on why I won't race it now is because if I don't race, they'll never know what I could have done. So then I can always talk trash to all my friends.
Yeah.
You can do the same, right?
Yeah. The second you actually sign up and get like 20th,
then you have no room to talk. But like, I've never raced, so you never know what I could have done.
I could spank you.
Yeah.
Probably not. Actually, definitely not. But definitely now I can say it.
Yeah. Let me ride that thing.
Until I eat it off the starting line.
Yeah. I was with Kooster up there. He rode with us, which was cool. For a day, he doesn't guide nearly as much. and he went with us one day, and he's on a 175, and he climbed this hill. I'm on my 54 turbo, and I'm like, Carl, give me that thing. Let me show you how to ride it. Because, like, my sled's not going up that today. Yeah.
He's on the absolute tractor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I rode it for a second, and I was like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah. It's efficient. Yeah. Right on, buddy. Well, it was nice catching up finally.
Yeah, it was fun.
I feel like we should do this more often.
We should.
We got Jackson coming up. Ross and I will be there along with quite a few other of our Misfit friends.
Yeah.
That is the weekend of the 25th of March. Then, that's kind of like the wrap of the season, I always feel like. Things start. Then it's like kind of April's like fun, free riding for yourself and enjoying being outdoors. But
April, people start losing interest a little bit, so it just becomes a little bit more like. Yeah.
We'll start riding dirt bikes in April probably.
Yeah,
it's like dual sport season. Yeah. I love April. So good snow in the mountains, valley bottoms. You can go ride some single track, and days are long. Sun's out. Weather's getting nicer. Yeah, we got some good stuff ahead of us. Yeah, and then this summer, we're probably going to do some moto stuff together because we don't film Ross Snowmobiling.
No. It's fine. It's good. Yeah, it's fun. So,
any closing words, Roscoe?
No.
Hey, what do you got going on?
Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, geez, appreciate it.
Yeah. Check out your YouTube channel.
Yeah, check out YouTube channel, Ross XR, and on YouTube, Instagram.
And DOS or just Ross.XR or just Ross XR?
I think it's just Ross XR on YouTube. I changed the handle now that they have that. So, yeah, the support is sick for everybody out there. And without the viewers and subscribers and comments and all that stuff, like, we can't do it. So, especially me. So I appreciate all that. And, yeah, thanks for the love. And hopefully if there's any people out there that are interested in what we do on the creative side and stuff, like, maybe there was something of like tangible in this episode. So
I hope so.
We love talking about it.
Yeah, we could go forever, but it would just start going off the rails if we kept going.
Yeah, but people listened along.
Pretty soon we're going to talk about like opening a frozen yogurt place. We'll be so off topic.
Yeah, yeah.
All else fails, find Ross and I at the frozen yogurt store off of 23rd and 2nd.
Yeah, our coffee shop, bar, frozen yogurt. Hangout. Music venue.
Well, thanks, Ross. It's always a pleasure, buddy. If you guys are watching on YouTube, we appreciate the comments as always, and subscribe for more. I know this channel on YouTube is the same that we upload all of our other videos, all of our webisodes too. So especially today, this is launching early in the morning. Tonight, if you're listening to this on launch day, is a brand new episode from the boys up in Canada. So that's going to be awesome. And then actually we got so many episodes stockpiled now that we're going weekly on the webisodes for like the next 3 or 4 weeks straight here to wrap up the season. So you're going to have weekly content for the next month straight. If you're on Spotify or Apple, thank you for all the 5-star reviews. Those help push this a ton. On Spotify, we actually have like a little Q&A section, and a lot of you guys utilize it, which is fun because it kind of gives us topics to talk about or guests to have on. So if you're on there, leave us a comment. What do you want to see next? Who do you want to see next? Where do you want us to be next? Whatever it may be. But until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in, I don't know when. I've been on the road a lot, so we're a little sporadic on the podcast now.
Maybe the next one we do Q&A. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Guys, send us questions. Send them our way.
Yep.
We'll see you later.